on the lights, feel the beat. Twists and tails can't be beat. Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the wrestle heat. Now first one time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smoke's always high.
You still slow. What's up, my dog? Good.
Yeah, man. Hey, can we talk for a minute?
Yeah. What up?
No, can we talk alone?
Hey, just give us a minute.
So, what is all that? Is this just it now? Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, is everything cool now after everything Jimmy did to you? I just want to make sure, are you actually going to go back to SmackDown and talk to Roman Reigns and squash this beef? Everything's just fine now?
Sammy, I know what you're saying about Roman. I think Solo's worse, Who's?
No, hang on a second, because Solo's not the one who mentally got in your head for years, okay? He's not the one that made you jump through hoops every single week to prove your worth to your own family.
Sammy, it sounds like you're on Solo's side now, Who's?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not on anybody's side here, okay? I'm on your side. This isn't a lesser of two evils. You don't have to choose one or the other. You could just not get involved. Because this is it's not your fight anymore, Jay. This is not your fight anymore. You said it yourself. You're your own man now. You stepped out on your own. I just don't understand why you'd go back. I just don't understand.
Sammy, you wouldn't understand. Because you're not family, Who's?
All right. Welcome back to the Malapert Smart Podcast. I got Vlad with me. I got Robert with me, the Frozen Asian. But these two need no introductions. We're in the middle of reviewing an angle. We'll get to talking to Vlad and Robert in a bit. But we're discussing Monday Night Raw, the angle with the Bloodline on October 28th. I just played you a clip from it of Sami Zayn, a little surprised that Jey Uso was willing to go back into Bloodline business. But I do want to show a couple pictures of what happened later in that night. Robert, in your text message, you said you missed this, but Jimmy said he was going to go talk to Sami Zayn to kind of smooth things over or just be like, just talk to him, right? And he went out into the parking lot to look for him, and they caught a glimpse of Sami with Solo Sikoa, if you look closely. Yeah. They were having a discussion in the parking lot. So, all right, well, Sami and Zayn reintroduced into the Bloodline storyline. This is from Monday Night Raw. I know this is a few days ago now. Vlad, the wrestling expert, but I do want to get some thoughts from this before we talk about Crown Jewel, because this is the week of Crown Jewel, which has already happened, so we're going to talk about that in a bit. But we're going back and discussing this angle from Raw. We had some ratings for this angle just from that night. Let's see what you guys came up with. Robert gave it 2 thumbs up, the reintroduction of Sami Zayn into this program. I gave it, or Vlad gave it a thumbs up, and I gave it a this was fire, just because as soon as I saw Sami coming back into this, man, I don't know, that made me giddy. I think this was good storytelling. This was, to me, I like the little things like this, so I'm giving it my only fire rating of the week came from this Monday Night Raw, so I was very happy with it. But anyways, Vlad, the wrestling expert, you gave a thumbs up to this. Let's hear some thoughts about Monday Night Raw, if you could. I know it's a few days ago now, but try to pull something out of your memory banks for us, man.
Yeah, I'll try my hardest. No, but I do obviously remember. I'll try. I do obviously remember this specific moment where, in the backstage stuff and all that. But the one part, I guess, I think I mentioned it in the review, is when Jimmy and Jay were in the ring to start the show, and even though they had hugged on SmackDown, they were like, "Oh, but we're not cool yet." Again on Raw, I'm like, "Dude, you just hugged already on SmackDown." So like, obviously that's what made me think, like, because one of these shows taped, and they were confused. They were confused about or the order of things, and I don't know. I was a little confused. I was slightly confused by that. Overall, though, yeah, this was a good segment. Of course, all the backstage stuff actually probably was the best part of the show. And the Bloodline is probably the best part of Raw and SmackDown both now, as they're taking over both shows. I don't know. I don't know really what else to add. It was good stuff. Obviously, Sami being involved was. I wasn't really giddy in the sense of like Kahan was. I thought it was predictable. I mean, it's going to be a 4-on-4 in Survivor Series, and there's only one other person that could have joined Roman's original crew, and that's Sami. You know, there's just no one else. So it's predictable, but of course I like Sami. I just wasn't like shocked or surprised and thinking that it deserved a fire rating. I think that was probably uncalled for that. But overall, it was a good segment, and that's it. I mean, leave it at that. Good stuff.
Well, the thing about Jey Uso being apprehensive to hug Jimmy, I think, was because he had some stuff on his mind that he needed to air out, and as he did on SmackDown with Roman. It's like he wanted to reconcile, but it's like there was just a few more things they needed to kind of smooth over and talk about.
Yeah. They're not going to be like. I got it.
Yes,
I got it, but I don't know. It just he already hugged him on SmackDown, so it's,
yeah. I know.
I know. Huh? Okay, whatever. I guess okay, but anyways.
I also liked Jimmy Uso's like angry face or disgusted face at seeing Sami, which was kind of funny because at first when Sami joined the Bloodline, it was Jimmy who was willing to kind of bring him in, and now it's flipped around where Jey is his friend on Raw, or has been his friend since the whole Bloodline fall or whatever of the original Bloodline.
Well, of course.
But
okay, it goes without saying this is tremendous long term storytelling type deal. Of course, this is an angle that's been going on for years in a sense. So in that sense, this is tremendous that they could still focus on the Bloodline years since they've been a group, right? So
yes.
Yeah,
all right. Well, let me jump to Robert. Robert, 2 thumbs up from this night. Let's hear anything you want to say from this night. I know a lot of things has happened since then, but I'm trying to focus on just this angle for this minute. So let's hear it. No time limit for you right now. Sorry, on the next angle, I'll put 90 seconds on the clock, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I really like this a lot. It also felt off-putting to me when they seemingly had some grievances to work out in the ring, where on the previous episode of SmackDown they already hugged it out, so it seemed like everything was okay already. So that was a little off-putting, but I still like this a lot. And the backstage segment with Sami, you know, I think I might have been the first to predict the Bloodline reunion with Sami Zayn months ago. So I knew this was going to happen eventually, and as the weeks went by and weeks and months went by, like it was an inevitability pretty much. So it finally happened here. Good timing right before Crown Jewel. Yeah, it was great. Now again, I missed that part where Sami was talking to Solo. I don't know what I was doing.
It was real quick. It was quick.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, it must have been quick, and I don't know. I was probably away from the TV, but still, I liked it enough to give it 2 thumbs.
We're probably taking a shot of gin and juice, like you always are, Robert. I know you.
Sure.
Every time.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I know you drink gin and tonic or something, right? Isn't that what you drink at the bar? Or
Jameson and ginger.
No, you don't do gin ever? Okay, I'm thinking of something else then. Forget it. For some reason, I thought you ordered gin sometimes, but all right, Jameson. So now we know what you were doing during the segment. You were drinking Jameson then.
Sure.
All right then. Is that it for this? Can I move on to what happened on SmackDown?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. So real quick, I'm not gonna talk about it in detail. I have to refer you to the links in the description of our video here if you haven't seen the original video. I'm guessing you have, but if you really need to, I do have links posted of all the original historical footage, as I call it, from Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite or whatever we're talking about. But okay, so SmackDown, I'm jumping to Friday night. This was November 1st, 2 nights ago now. We're recording on a Sunday here, the night after Crown Jewel, but we're talking about SmackDown, and this is where, as we mentioned a minute ago, Jey had to air out a couple of grievances and smooth some kinks over with Roman if he was going to rejoin the crew, at least for this fight against the new Bloodline, Solo's Bloodline. So here is a picture of Jay talking to Roman, and as Vlad said, what did he say? We have to be equals now. He's not going to accept being abused and all that. Just to paraphrase. But in the end, Roman did agree, and he said yeet. One line, I think, it was all he said, and he was like, "Yep." And they all threw up the ones, and they did the guns up salute. So if you ain't down with that, two words for you, right? Guns up.
We just lost 100 subscribers because of that reference.
Well, that is what they did. But anyway, ratings for this angle from SmackDown. By the way, we reviewed all angles. Sorry, Robert.
Okay.
Let me just remind the audience that we do review every angle from every wrestling show in America, but it's only on our review post. So go on our YouTube post tab and we review it. But for this podcast, we have to choose a few of them only because we can't stay and talk all night.
Yeah.
So I've chosen 12 angles today. So this SmackDown angle is one of them. And the reviews that Vlad and Robert and myself submitted for this night on SmackDown, a thumbs up from each of us, regular thumbs up. So we all like this. Jey Uso making up with Roman Reigns as they're set for a battle with the Bloodline at Crown Jewel. Solo also had a promo later in the night, which I included in this angle. But all right, for right now, I'll get thoughts from Robert. So Robert, I don't know, you watched this segment from SmackDown recently, I think. You submitted your review today. So I'll give you 90 seconds. You could use all of it or less or whatever you want to do. What can you tell us about Jey Uso and Roman finally reconciling? How did you like this, and what did you think?
Yeah, I like this too. There's only one thing that kind of confused me. I wouldn't necessarily call it a plot hole, but a couple weeks ago on Raw, I'm pretty sure I remember Roman Reigns telling Jey Uso that he was proud of him, right? And it seemed like to me like he was trying to reconcile with him right then and there. So I don't know why there was hesitancy here. So that's the only thing I have to say about that. That's it seems like inconsistent with what happened a couple weeks ago. But overall, I still like this segment. They had to get back together right before Crown Jewel. So yeah, that's it.
All right, Vlad, I'll jump over to you. Thumbs up from you also. Anything you want to say about the SmackDown, and then we're going to get to the Crown Jewel showdown afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's a continuation of what was on Raw. They said they were going to meet up on Raw for SmackDown, and here they are. You really can't... I mean, it was a good segment, but there wasn't really much said by Roman. It was just kind of Jay saying very similar things that he said to Jimmy on Raw, right? So, good segment. Wasn't bad. Just I think we're all waiting to get to the Crown Jewel at this point. So there wasn't much. I thought Roman would give a little bit more in this interview, to be honest. Just maybe state why he was kind of an asshole for all those years, why he had to be. You could have said a lot of different things. Maybe they're saving that for another time. That's fine. Probably there is plenty of time for that to still be said. But overall, yeah, good segment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a segment that had to happen. But you're right. I think Roman in the storyline is taking this kind of hard. He seems like he doesn't want to be this way, but he has to get the help because Solo has been dominating him, and 4-on-1 they'll whoop his ass every time.
Yeah.
So he
needs his original guy back.
Yeah, but he's biting his tongue, and he's just he's going along with whatever they say because he needs their help. But yeah, I think this hurts his ego a little bit. But all right, so let's move on to the Crown Jewel matchup. This is from yesterday in the morning where we were, but SmackDown supposedly I think was on Friday, and then Crown Jewel was on Saturday. But I think it was tape delayed, right? SmackDown wasn't.
This SmackDown was taped for sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, because it would have been that's what didn't make sense to me. The SmackDown was at 5 p.m. on Friday, and then they flew to Saudi Arabia and had a show at 10 a.m.
It would have been impossible. No.
So, okay.
Fastest plane ride ever.
Yeah, literally. All right, so we're jumping to the six-man tag, the grudge match. It's the Bloodline, representing the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa with his boys. It was Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga on this one, and Tonga Loa was just hanging out with them. And then, so here's the four of them,
That makes
and then
sense.
Jimmy and Roman came out as the first entrance for the old Bloodline, I guess we could call them. And Jay came out by himself because he's a single star now and he has his own ring walk entrance. But I'll just jump to the ending. Okay, it was a long match. If you guys want to see it, there's a link in the description of the full match. All right, it's pretty long. But for the purposes of this, I'm just trying to get reviews from Vlad and Robert, so I'm not trying to summarize too much. But we'll give the ending. So I'll skip to the ending, and basically Solo had Jacob Fatu had a chance to clean house. He took out Roman, and then he dove onto the Usos, which looked really great. And then he left Roman in the ring for Solo, who gave Roman 2 Samoan spikes and pinned him. So finally, Solo's crew get a big win after all the freaking losses they've taken recently. And then, so they get some heat back, I guess, as Vlad would say. To Vlad, this fixes everything. All the losses and weakness that they've made Solo look. The SmackDown steel cage loss to Cody clean. But okay, fine. They got some heat back, right, Vlad? But
Yeah, well, somewhat, yeah. You have to say they did get some of it back.
they won
Maybe
pretty
not all.
clean too. They didn't really cheat too much. But so after the match, heels that they are, there was an afterbirth, and they try to beat up on the old Bloodline guys. So here they are beating up on Jey Uso, and then that's when they were gonna, kind of break his neck or whatever with the steel chair. And they got him ready to do that. And then Sami Zayn's music hit, which got a big pop in Saudi Arabia because he's from that area, I guess. Been a big baby face over there. So Sami comes in, and this was where there's a little bit of, I guess, uncertainty because we didn't really know what would happen because we did catch him talking to Solo the other day. But as Vlad said, they needed to make this 4-on-4 for each side, right? So eventually, Sami did a little swerve where he was gonna hug Solo, which I don't know why Solo is inviting him into the Bloodline because he's not family. But okay, he'll take him, right? And then Sami was gonna do it, but instead he gives him like a suplex instead of a hug. So that's where they clean house, and they had Solo all by himself, and then Roman gets up and he still hasn't seen Sami. He was gonna Superman punch Solo, and Solo gets out of the way. And Sami kicks him, which looked good. That was a good
That looks
spot.
great. That was a great spot.
Yes, they did that really well. They were planning to do something kind of complicated, but it worked out. And then Roman's all, messed up from it. Solo's laughing, and Jimmy's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And I think Jay is telling him like, "Wait, hold on. He helped us. Just let him go." So Sami walks off. And Roman finally gets a view of that Sami's there, and Jimmy tells him Sami's there, and Solo's like, or Roman's like, what the fuck? What is he doing here? How the hell did that happen? But okay, so there's the match. The Bloodline finally get a win. I'll jump back to Vlad. Vlad gave this 2 thumbs up on our Malapert Smart rating system. He loved it. We all did. We all gave this 2 thumbs up. So the 3 of us unanimous. Same rating on this. So Vlad, 90 seconds. Let's hear your review on this 6-man tag match from CrownJewel.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was just the match, I would have given it just 1 thumb up because it was a good match, and they did a good job going over the fact that the old Bloodline were not really united. They still had problems throughout the match between Jimmy and Roman, right, not wanting to tag each other, or Jimmy did want to tag Roman a couple times. So I think they did a good job getting that point across. But the post-match stuff with Sami was really interesting, really good. Well done. That, as you mentioned, that spot specifically where they both meant to hit Solo, but Sami hit Roman instead. Creates more tension. But we know eventually they will have this Survivor Series match. They'll get united. And I would think that they would win too, unless there's another swerve in the head, but who knows? But anyways, this was good stuff. Across the the Bloodline angle has definitely been the highlight again of not only SmackDown, not only Raw, but I thought it was probably the best thing that happened on Crown Jewel as well. So, yeah, good stuff.
All right, then I'll jump to Robert. Robert, you also gave this 2 thumbs up. So,
Yes.
anything you want to say about this 6-man tag and the afterbirth?
Yes, I love this. I did predict that the new Bloodline would beat the original one because they needed it. They needed some momentum heading into Survivor Series for sure. So that the result didn't surprise me. The fact that they won pretty clean was a little bit surprising, or at least at first. But then when I, took some time to think about it, I think that's actually good that they won clean because that just reinforces the fact that the original Bloodline does need help, and and here it comes, or we'll see what happens later. But they'll need Sami Zayn's help. Well, right now there's some issues to fix clearly, but I'm sure the weeks leading up to Survivor Series that's pretty much going to be the angle is the internal strife between the original Bloodline and how they navigate through that while also having to contend with the new Bloodline. So overall, really good stuff.
All right, cool. All right, I want to jump off the Bloodline for a moment now. Let me jump to Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins stuff. So they had a match at Crown Jewel, but before I jump to that, I do want to jump to just to mention real quick, like an honorable mention of the angle they had on Raw before this, where they fought by the production truck, and Bronson Reed gave Sami Zayn like a suplex off the top of the production truck onto some tables, and Seth Rollins looked dead, and they said he went to the hospital. So he was going to the hospital like 5 days before this match he was supposed to have with this beast that they've been presenting, Bronson Reed. Yeah. For this Raw segment, real quick, I'll just say that we all gave this 2 thumbs up. So we all like this segment we all really like this segment from Raw. We all loved it, actually. 2 thumbs up means we loved it. So I did like it, although I did hear some criticisms, like on the Stevie Richards show, that some of the fighting looked fake, and he was watching the punches, and, I was like, okay, but, still, I like the excitement and what they've been going for. But I'm going to jump to what we really want to talk about is the match at Crown Jewel. So let me jump to that if I can. Give me 1 second. My computer's acting a little strange for the moment. There it is. Okay. So Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, big match. They've hyped this up really well as a big superstar showdown. So I'm going to show you just a couple pictures and how it happened, how it went down. There was a lot of curb stomps. Big Bronson Reed took a lot of damage in this match. He did end up losing, which I'll get your opinions of, but he took out a steel steps that he was going to use. Again, just like Raw, he got curb stomped on the steel steps. This is after already taking a number of curb stomps, I think. But he beat the count. He got up from this and got back in the ring, which was amazing, and then took another curb stomp, and I think he took a curb stomp off the top of the steel, off the top rope, too.
That was the finish.
That was the finish. So after the match, Bronson Reed, after he takes a pinfall, he gets up. I don't know if you'd call this an afterbirth because nothing really happened. He just kind of looks at him, and they look at each other, and I think Seth Rollins is a little surprised that he can even stand up at this point. He's a little bleeding. Bloodied. Yeah, he's bleeding. That's true. He's got a cool little gash on his eye, and I think he tells Seth Rollins, come on, keep fighting. Why would Seth Rollins want to keep fighting? But okay. So this seems like it's not over. All right, but no. I will give our ratings for this. So for this match, I got ratings from you 3 including myself. We all gave this a thumbs up. So we all liked it. I had to think about it for a while, whether I would give it a thumbs up, because, I think a lot of people were upset that Bronson Reed didn't get the win, which would have been great for him, obviously. That would have sent him to the moon like everyone wants him to. But I don't think they could have let Seth Rollins lose clean also, because he's just not a character that can take a clean loss like this, unfortunately. So I think we got the best that we could out of this. But, all right, that's what I think. Let's hear what you guys think. Robert, you go first. So you gave this a thumbs up. Anything you want to say about how they booked this?
Yeah. Well, first off, this was a pretty good match for sure. And also, kind of a side note, as someone who used to listen to a lot of underground, non-mainstream hip hop, I did appreciate the fact that Bronson Reed's ring gear had a picture of one of my favorite rappers from the underground scene, MF Doom. That was his picture on his ring gear. So I personally appreciated that. Now,
Cool.
outside of the match being good, I didn't like the fact that he lost. Well, not necessarily that I had a problem with him losing to Seth Rollins, but this is his second straight PLE where he lost. He lost to Braun Strowman in the previous one, if I remember correctly.
That was a Raw, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, Raw. It was the Raw,
but it was a
before
big
the
match.
PLE. Yeah, my bad. Still, like, this is someone that's on the rise, right? They're like building him up to be a monster. He needs to have some consistent momentum, like get wins over some big names. But look, basically, based on what happened after the match, it looks like this is definitely not over. If they do have another match in another PLE, I hope he gets a win back. Hopefully, we'll see, but I don't know.
All right, Vlad. Let's get your wrestling expertise from the wrestling expert.
Yeah, I'm gonna focus on the booking specific because the match itself was pretty good. I think I was a little torn of how to feel. And as Robert was talking, I got even more torn because he brought up some good points in the sense of could they have not found a way for Bronson Reed to win this match and look strong in this big moment for him. But I still feel the reason I'm torn is I still felt even with the loss he looked pretty damn strong. Like they had to do a lot. Like Seth had to do a lot to beat him, right? Like monstrous things. You had to give him his finish from the top rope, which I don't know if maybe I've seen it. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that before. I'm not 100%. But anyways, he also had to take it on the ring steps again. That curb stomp move, and then he got up looking like a badass. The blood, which I'm pretty sure was Hardway, definitely was not part of the match. He has like a nice gash right, on his eyebrow. It's still like, I'm still here. I can get, basically saying that, you might have put me down, but I keep getting up. Like I'm the monster type of deal. I'm okay with it, but I do feel that if they meet again, he's got to win. I don't care if he cheats to win or what he has to do, but he needs that win over Seth to really get him to that main event level. I think he's a main event. Like, I think he has the potential to be main event. His stuff has been really entertaining. Like, whether it looks sometimes a little phony, some of the backstage fights that he had with Seth or some of the backstage stuff that he had with Strowman, it's so entertaining that I'm looking past it because it's so good and it's chaotic that it's still really good, And it's not like AEW phony. It's just WWE phony.
I don't think he's been there's been anything egregious from Bronson Reed. Honestly,
I think
his
so
work
either.
has been really good. I agree. I agree with you. I think he's a main eventer also, based on his work, just based on his in-ring work and his selling.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm really impressed with him. And like you said, yes, I'm fine with this. I still gave it a thumbs up. I still liked it. I could have liked it even more. You know what I mean? We're the three of us, I think, aren't the biggest Seth Rollins fans. You know what I mean? So we could have been fine with him taking a loss here. But I think in WWE's eyes, he's like a top main eventer.
Yeah, he is.
The WrestleMania main event.
You're right. It's like Roman, Cody, and I think they consider Seth right slightly below those guys. But I don't see it that way, but they see it that way.
Yes. So, all right then, fine. Okay, moving along. We have a contractual obligation here to have at least one AEW segment in our top 5 topics.
And
so we're gonna get back to yes, Tony Khan paid me off. So we're gonna get back to Crown Jewel. Yeah, I'm taking the paycheck just like Dave Meltzer. What do you want me to say? But okay, we're gonna come back to Crown Jewel. I promise. We're gonna do the other matches, or at least most of them. But we're going to jump to AEW Dynamite, baby. Dynamite. So what day was this? Let me see. This was, for the audience, October 30th. So if anybody needs to see this, this is angle number 1 in our review post. So you could go check out the whole video that I've posted in the description below. But for the purposes of our review here, I'm just going to give a couple pictures. But they started off the show. They were going to show another video package with the Blackpool Combat Club cutting promos, or Moxley's crew, whatever you want to call them. And Orange Cassidy cut them off. He was on his microphone. He's like, cut this fucking video off. Shut it off. I'm coming to the ring and I want to say something. So to paraphrase, because I don't have it, written in front of me exactly what he said, but he said he was going to join the fight and he challenged Moxley to a match at Full Gear for the AEW World Title, and that he was going to handle this whole situation by himself, and he doesn't want no one else to get hurt, so he's going to just do it by himself, all right? So later in the night, Moxley comes out, and he tries to get Orange Cassidy to come out by using his own guy, Wheeler Yuta. They were going to beat him up, and I guess Wheeler used to be in the Best Friends, right? So this did actually bring Orange Cassidy out. So Orange Cassidy came out to, try to defend Wheeler Yuta for some reason.
What a goddamn goof.
I know, and then Wheeler Yuta just turns around and starts joining in on a beating of Orange Cassidy. but it did get a pop when they started grabbing Wheeler Yuta and I don't know. And then so the AEW defenders come one by one, including Darby Allin, who came from the sky, like Sting. And he had the same problem that Sting had sometimes when he was doing that in WCW, that he couldn't get that
stuck on. Yep.
Yeah, they couldn't get that strap off. So he's just going ahead and fighting, with it on or whatever. And he is beating up Claudio, trying to punch him. But, to make a long story short, they get run off here. So the AEW defenders, including Orange Cassidy and everybody, Top Flight, Daniel Garcia, they all come out, and the Moxley's crew kind of just run off and they powder out. So there you go. That's that. All right, so this was one angle that I posted on my review list of AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday. What did you guys give it as a rating? Let's see. Vlad gave it half thumbs up. Oh, I don't have Roberts here. Do you remember what you gave this segment?
I don't remember.
Hold on. Let me look it up and I'll edit this together. For some reason, I try to write down all your things, but damn it, more editing. Give me 1 moment. I have it here. All right, so Vlad and Robert gave this a half thumbs up. And Orange Cassidy half thumbs up. I don't know if that was just like Orange Cassidy does, and unenthusiastic. I like it, I guess. You guys kind of like something about this. Me, Kahan was the only guy who was harsh on this, the Malaperts mark. I gave this a thumbs down. So for this angle, on this day, I didn't like how Moxley's crew just kind of powdered out in this instance. Basically all the guys came in and they all just ran them off and ran away. So after a couple weeks of making them look really strong and smart on this night, Moxley's crew didn't look strong, really. So, I'll start with Vlad on this. So, Vlad, your half thumbs up. I know you said you had a lot of problems with this, but that they're trying, so you gave them something here. But
I'm still grading. Going back to last week, I'm still grading on a curve, I guess.
Yeah, because maybe it was one of the better things on the show, I guess. So you throw them a bone,
I throw them a bone. Yeah.
Okay, but yes, you didn't give it a full thumbs up. You didn't give it a 2 thumbs up. So maybe you have issues with it. Whatever comments you want to make, let's hear your thoughts first. Actually, also before I mention this, there is another angle that we're going to discuss after this, which was the Young Bucks thing, Young Bucks leaving. And, so that's going to be separate. So if you want to make comments about that, I'll just let you know that we are going to talk about that after this. So, all right, go ahead. Whatever you got on this segment. I guess this includes the whole Orange Cassidy thing. Orange Cassidy's going to be fighting for the championship at Full Gear, this might be the time. This might be it, man. Orange Cassidy, world champion. So whatever you think about that, and then the whole battle they had in the arena. So go ahead. Sorry about that. 90 seconds.
Well, okay. I'll start off just by talking about the interview that he cuts to start the show. He said something about people want me to be a leader, be the face of the company. Who wants this? Like, who is begging for Orange Cassidy to be a leader of anything? Who actually wants this guy to be at the top, except for Tony Khan? Like, who was actually pushing for this? Who would want this goof as the world champion? You have to be insane. You have to be crazy. There has to be something wrong with you mentally.
All right. Let's not make fun of the AEW fans like this, but okay. Stick to reviewing what's going on the screen, please.
Well, unless the fans are responsible for pushing this guy, then I don't bear any responsibility to the fans. But I'm talking about who's actually in charge of the company. Okay, the rest of the segment, it was the usual nonsense. I think the only other part that was semi-interesting is Darby coming out like Sting, which is a blatant ripoff of what they're trying.
What do you think of that?
They're trying to rip off the whole NWO Sting thing now.
It's also dangerous, man. Why do they need to do that? It's not that cool, honestly. It didn't look that cool when they come down like that. He's like hanging there. He's just like, please, God, don't let me fall. It doesn't look that smooth. So I
don't think he would be afraid of that. Of all the things all the other things that he's done.
That's true. Darby would probably prefer to die that way, but that's not the point. The point I'm trying to say is that it's a ripoff, and you're right. For some reason, when Sting did it, it looked a lot cooler. I don't know if it's just because WCW had better equipment or they were in bigger arenas or whatever have you. I don't know. But yeah, it didn't really look that great when he was kind of looked like he was just hanging there.
Yeah, when Sting did it, he came down. He just popped up out of nowhere and he was ready to whoop ass. When they've done it twice now that I've seen. Once with Sting before he retired and once right here. And each time they do it, they come down so slow. And it's like, oh my God, everyone sees them coming. Like, Jesus Christ, just put them down already, so they can join the fight. But okay, Robert, the Orange Cassidy promo, he's going to fight Moxley, the whole fight in the ring. So you gave this a half thumbs up. So any thoughts you can remember?
So when Orange Cassidy did his promo, in my head I was like, wow, he's actually trying for once. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I mean, it was an okay promo. I also thought the same when he said that, everybody wants him to be the leader. I'm like, really? You? Oh, sure, I guess. What I did like more was Moxley's response to that when he said, no, you didn't challenge me, I challenged you. Like, I thought that was a pretty cool quote from Moxley. Regarding their upcoming match, I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because I remember, I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, they had a couple of matches for the Intercontinental title, and they were actually pretty good. At least the first one was. I still remember it being entertaining. I don't see Orange Cassidy as champ though. I don't know. I think Moxley is gonna take that one. The rest of the segment was just okay, so I just gave it a half thumbs up.
Okay. All right. Let me move on with the rest of the stories. I'm going to change our clocks since we're past our top 5 angles for the week. I'm going to put a minute on the clock for the rest of the show to try to speed up the pace and get through the rest of it. But I'm going to stick with Dynamite. I'm going to stick with it does have to do with this storyline a little bit, but I'm going to just make this angle about the tag team title match between the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson against Private Party. So this was supposed to be finally the day that Private Party get over and win the tag team titles, which they did. So their tag team was on the line. So if they lost, they had to split up and break up as a tag team. But I'm going to skip the match. It was a whatever match. It was a type of, high-flying, flippity-doo-dah Young Bucks type of match. And then after the match, the Young Bucks did put their titles on Private Party, which at first I thought was supposed to be like a sign of respect. And be like, all right, fine, you won. But there's another hidden meaning behind it, as I will talk to you about in the next angle that we talk about. But Private Party get to celebrate for the moment. So for the match of Private Party finally winning, I will give our reviews for this angle. We all gave it a half thumbs up. So we're kind of happy with it, I guess. I'll give my review on this one first. All right, so I'll put a minute on the clock for myself. And because I do want to talk about this. This is probably more something I want to talk about than anyone else here wants to talk about. But I'll say that the whole private party thing was botched so bad since the beginning. Like, they had an idea for them, because very early on in AEW, they let them beat the Young Bucks clean and get over on them. And then nothing for like 4 years. And then finally, like a few weeks ago, they finally started to push them. They've been involved in this Moxley invasion angle or whatever you want to call it. But in my opinion, it's so far too late. That's why I gave this only a half thumbs up. And Vlad, your comment in our review post was, yeah, good for them, right? Like, sarcastically, I think, is what you're trying to say. So, yes, this just wasn't done the right way. It wasn't done well. And they could have got so much more out of Private Party winning and becoming tag team champions and beating the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks putting them over was also so half-hearted too, because it's part of the angle that's coming up. So it wasn't even honest. But all right, any thoughts you guys want to give? I guess I'll put a minute on the clock for you also. So Robert, do you have any thoughts about this, or if you want to pass on this, you could. It's up to you. Private Party.
I didn't care much about this too much, so I'll pass.
All right, Vlad, do you want to echo any of the thoughts I have in terms of criticizing booking here, or what do you think?
Well, of course. Oh my God, I mean, you could write a whole book about how they misused these guys for years. You know, I mean, they have a talent, but you know, I don't know. And the match.
It's too late. It was too late, huh? It was just too late. No one cares about this. It's so far too late, man. This could have been good 2-3 years ago or something.
I mean, yes, of course. I agree with that part of it. I don't know if you can ever say it's too late. I mean, if the crowd starts to actually, cheer you, and you start to kind of get over maybe.
Is anyone cheering for Private Party recently? They're cheering for the Outrunners right now. Like, Private Party's old news.
Well, look, I'm not disagreeing with you. Look, I definitely agree with you. I'm just saying, of course, these guys have been misused, and the match itself, like, if you've seen one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all. It's the same stuff, just the same spots over and over again. But, you know, good for these guys. I mean, they're tag team champions. It's going to go down as a record that they were tag team champions. They're good young athletes, but you could only get so far over in AEW. You know, this is probably the best thing they could have hoped for, honestly.
All right. So let me move on to the next angle, which includes the Young Bucks. Okay, so another thing we got to talk about. But so after they lost this tag team match, we got to a segment of the cameraman sneaking into their locker room, kind of, and I don't know, they're doing some weird shit. They're shredding up papers, and they're getting ready to escape. I don't know what they're shredding up. They're vice presidents. In real life, they're the vice presidents too. So in the storyline here, they're leaving. They lost their tag titles. They gave the belts to Private Party. They're like, fuck this. We're out of here. All this stuff with Moxley's crew. It's too violent. It's too crazy. It's too chaotic. We're working from home, as they said. And Daniel's like, hey, come on, man. Like, we need you. You're leaving now. What the fuck? And Daniel's like, well, what can you do? They're gone. And then Brandon Cutler, who was their stooge, they left without him. They left too fast, and they forgot him. He's like, wait for me. And then that's when Moxley's crew come out, who had just been, chased off by all the AEW guys. So they're still hanging out backstage, and they're still trying to act badass, right? So they get Daniels, Moxley's holding Daniels here, while the other guys hold down Brandon Cutler, and I think, what's his name? Claudio is going to smash his hand with a hammer. And he sold it, and he cried, and he screamed, and all that. And Daniels is like, no, don't do that. Which Chris Daniels is like the Adam Pearce, I guess, of AEW at this point. The authority figure, and he's like...
Poor man's version.
Yes, poor man's version of Adam Pearce, which I'm a Christopher Daniels fan from TNA back in the days. Unfortunately here, this is... Okay, what can I say about this? Okay, so for this one, Vlad's the one that gave the thumb down. You gave a thumbs down to this one, and I gave a half thumbs up. I kind of liked it, I guess, because I think it's interesting. And Robert here, where's Robert? Robert is a thumbs up. So Robert actually thought this was kind of interesting too. So, all right, where does my half thumbs up come from? My half thumbs up comes from the idea, I guess, of just the Young Bucks deciding to get the fuck out.
That's a fair point.
I guess. But I think a lot of people are skittish because a lot of people are thinking, oh, they're going to be the heroes in all this in the end and be the ones that are like, oh, when everything is down and out for AEW, the Young Bucks come back and super kick party and they're the ones who take out Moxley's crew. But anyways, my reason why I can't give this a full thumbs up or, anything really much better than that is because Moxley's crew, I think they've already lost their credibility earlier in the night, and then they beat up Brandon Cutler. Who gives a fuck about Brandon Cutler? So he's a heel anyways. Nobody really likes him. So, all right, I'll start with Robert. I guess you're the only one who gave this a full thumbs up. So, any thoughts you have about the continuation of this this program here with this little angle for the Young Bucks?
Yeah, for me, this was actually the most interesting segment of the night, actually, because it started off with them shredding documents, right? And then they jet. So they're hiding something. They clearly know something that everybody else in the company doesn't, except obviously Moxley's crew. What it is they're trying to hide, I guess we'll find out later. Maybe, I don't know, but they clearly know something more than everybody else in AEW, and they must have known that Moxley's crew was going to come after them because they left in a hurry because look what happened to Brandon Cutler. So I find this intriguing. Like I want to know what it is that they know. Like, right? Like why are they so afraid of terrified of Moxley's crew? Like, well, what is it about them that made them want to just like leave right after losing the belts? Something is up. So we just got to find out, or hopefully going to find out soon on what this is all about.
All right, Robert. Well, I'm with you. I'm also a little intrigued. That's why I gave it a little thumbs up there. But okay, Vlad, 1 minute on the clock for you, thumbs down. So obviously you're not a big Young Bucks fan, but what can you say about this here?
Yeah, I mean, it was silly. It was dumb. I mean, they're shredding papers. You can't, what the hell, dude? They're shredding.
They've been stealing money, maybe, or they've been laundering money, or I don't know what the hell. The Moxley's crew was gonna expose them for everything they've been doing, or some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know if we'll ever find out what the fuck that was. I don't know.
The problem is that exactly that
they shred the paper. So how the hell will we know what the fuck they are now? So
okay, they shred the papers. But knowing AEW, they'll never mention that ever again. They'll just they threw in, and they'll never go back to it. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the Young Bucks, but you brought up a good point that maybe I should have given this a higher grade for them leaving, and reports being that they're going to be gone for a while, from what I've read.
Yeah, right. So they're going to be gone.
That's going to be tremendous. And of course, the whole what's the Brian Cutler? Is that his
Brandon Cutler?
Brandon Cutler. Excuse me. Come on, dude. Like nobody cares about that, and I'm starting to care very little about Moxley's group as well because that's all they're working with, a bunch of no names. Undercard guys that are on Rampage and Collision mostly, so that's who he's basically feuding with. And of course Orange Cassidy. How could I forget Orange Cassidy, who's another one of my favorites? So anyway,
all right. Well, listen, Vlad, I gotta move on. So you're not so fond of Moxley's crew and the whole angle with that. Let's jump to something that you might be fond of, something that you actually gave a thumbs up to on your review, and that's the debut of Bobby Lashley. So I'm gonna cover the first. It was Shelton Benjamin against Swerve Strickland. So that was the match, the main event of the night. All right. So here's Shelton Benjamin. Let's see a size comparison. Looks like Shelton's a little tiny bit taller, slightly bit more muscular, I guess. But
yeah, definitely.
Tremendous shape.
But okay, if you want to see the match. If you didn't see it, it's in the description below. I posted a link to the video on my blog. But for the purposes of our review here, I just want to skip to the booking. And Swerve did win. Okay, so he did win the match. And MVP afterwards, who was with Shelton Benjamin, he's in a group with him, and he just said, you know what? He looked at his phone. He's like, damn it. And he's like, he called somebody. He's like, hey, man, I need you to come out right now. All right, yep, right now. And then so... the lights go out, and Bobby Lashley's here. It's from WWE, TNA lore, and now he's in AEW. and he faces off with Swerve Strickland. And basically, Shelton got on the ring apron, and Swerve was a little distracted, and I think that led to Lashley taking him down with a clothesline. And then that's when these three, I guess they're called the Hurt Syndicate now.
It's the Hurt Business.
Yeah, they're the Hurt Syndicate. So they took down Swerve and Prince Nana, and MVP is there choking out Nana.
Wow.
So security and everything comes in, and then these three guys basically fight them all off, and including MVP. So he was in there, and then they stand over Swerve and Nana to end the show. So there's a new heel stable, including Moxley's crew. So Moxley's crew is supposedly taking over AEW, but now there's these three gigantic big men. So what did you guys give this? Let me see. Vlad and Robert are on a thumbs up on this, and I'm on a half thumbs up. So I had issues with it. I can explain that to you guys in a bit, I guess. But I'll start with you guys first. So I'll start with Vlad. 1 minute on the clock. Thumbs up from you. Lashley and AEW, huh?
Well, the only reason that or the only issue I had maybe with it is the phone call thing. I think it's a silly thing. Like, what? Are you gonna call him to come out? Like, if he's there in the building and you?
Yeah, he was actually a gorilla. He's like waiting right there.
It's like, oh, hey, can you come out now? The show's about to end. No, dude. It's silly.
My guy lost. Can you stop getting a massage from a hot chick and get out here right now or something?
But in reality, obviously, I'm a fan of this group. I didn't get to see all of them, like in their. I know they had some good moments in WWE. I probably wasn't watching very closely WWE at that time, but Bobby Lashley, I'm well aware of. Shelton Benjamin, I've always been a fan of, and MVP's a great manager, in that role. I mean, this is actually probably my favorite. They've only been together for 1 week, and this is my favorite group in AEW by far.
Oh my god, they should beat up Moxley's crew. They should fucking just destroy those little pipsqueaks.
Look at these
Wheeler
guys.
Yuta and Marina Shafir.
Who could take over AEW? Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and some chick, or these three guys right here? Let's get real, bro. Shelton Benjamin
that's
and
weird.
Lashley are each in their 50s, but they both look like they could beat up the whole AEW locker room by themselves if they needed to. So yeah.
All right, let me jump to Robert. So 1 minute for Robert. You gave it a thumbs up also. So let's hear your thoughts on Lashley.
I'll give my thoughts on both Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, actually. It's more of a question. Do these guys ever age? I mean, seriously, they've been around for so long, and it's like they haven't aged a year. I don't know, man. They look great. All right, so my thumbs up. Well, I've been a Swerve Strickland fan already, but I've been a fan of Shelton Benjamin for even longer, and it's really good to see him in action again. Personally, for me, so this match was just fun to watch for me personally. And the ending was great too, with the introduction of Lashley. I don't think it came to any surprise to either of us, because that's kind of been talked about already. So, but overall, good match and good way to end the show.
Interesting. All right, so let me give my thoughts. I'll put a minute for me just so I don't go too long. But okay, so the reason I didn't give a whole thumbs up like you guys, and I just gave a little thumbs up, okay, Lashley's here. Great. So Shelton Benjamin, he took a clean loss from Swerve. All right.
Yeah.
I kind of have a little problem with that because they put Shelton Benjamin over Sammy Guevara last week, so they wanted to make him look like strong and a monster, I guess, and he's part of this. But if he's gonna just be like Lashley's lackey or second in command to this group, why did they have to have him beat Sammy Guevara last week? So that's my issue. And also,
who's Sammy Guevara? Why can't he beat Sammy Guevara?
He's the Spanish god.
It's like his Ring of Honor,
bro.
Sammy Guevara is a nothing. Who cares about Sammy Guevara?
Oh, well, Sammy Guevara in the history of AEW has been something. But yes, I know he's been on the downslide lately. But look, my point is he didn't have to take a clean loss from Swerve if they're going to try to make him look like a beast. Lashley could have came during the match. Maybe right when Swerve was going to get the 3 count. Then Lashley could have hit the ring, and they wouldn't have to have a clean loss. So that's how I would have done it. Slightly differently, but That's my issue.
I don't
with it.
disagree with you, but I have no problem with him beating Sammy Guevara of all people. Like that's your biggest. He beat Sammy Guevara last week. And
Well,
how can you beat Sammy and then lose to Swerve? I mean, what are you talking about?
Why does he have to take a loss from Swerve? Here he is, like trying to look like a badass right here.
That's
Well,
a fair point.
Because
My point-
Swerve was champion not too long ago. It makes sense. All right, but
I don't know.
for me, it makes sense. But,
It's just a little weird to me. That's all I'm saying. So I feel like they could have done it slightly differently. But moving along. All right, so I'm off AEW. That's enough AEW talk for the day. All right. Thank you for coming, AEW. So I'm gonna move on to back to WWE. All right, I'm gonna go to Crown Jewel, and I want to talk about the Liv Morgan, and Nia Jax match. I'm sorry, excuse me. Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. But before that, I just want to mention real quickly something that I think had to do with it. Came on NXT on Tuesday night, the 29th. Robert, I know you're the only one who saw this with me, as Vlad does not follow NXT anymore. So me and you reviewed this on our review posts. But something was going on in the back. The referees were like, oh shit, they were running to the back. Something chaos was happening. And Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were there for some reason, which was fucking weird as fuck. And the crowd popped for that. And then they went to like the other side of the car, and Rhea Ripley was there, bloody to hell. So I guess Raquel and Liv beat her ass, I guess. So, which what's her name? Rhea was only here because she was supposedly hanging out with
the NXT women.
With NXT women.
There she is.
There she is. Yeah. So Rhea was only on NXT, surprisingly, to hang out with her compatriot. So it wasn't even planned that she would be there, right? She just kind of showed up, and she hung out with Zarya and the other babyface girls. So why the fuck would Raquel and Liv know that Rhea was going to be on NXT, right? So that was my plot hole. But I still gave it a thumbs up just for the surprise of seeing some of the main roster people on NXT. Robert gave it a half thumbs up, so I guess you had some issues with it too, of the logic. I don't know if you want to make any comments about the NXT stuff.
So it's not the segment itself that I had a problem with, of them beating up and allegedly injuring Rhea Ripley. It's the fact that this happened on an episode of NXT, which I'm not saying that to slight NXT, but it doesn't make sense that the main roster, a segment involving like some big names from the main roster is happening on NXT, especially something significant like this. So when this happened, and then I found out about the legitimate injury about Rhea, it made me wonder if she was already injured prior to this segment, and then they kind of just did this to write her off. I'm not sure if that's what happened.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, like that's how it made sense in my head. Like, why did they show this on NXT as opposed to Raw, right? So maybe she was already injured, and they probably didn't know about it at the time of Raw, and then she found out about it later, and then they just planned this on that day for NXT, like just to write her off. That's the way I'm trying to make it make sense, but I don't know.
Well, Vlad, did you have some news about the Rhea Ripley, why they wrote her off the show? Because I was predicting about the Nia and Liv match that Rhea was going to come in and probably fucking screw Liv over and cost her that Crown Jewel title. But then heading into the match, we found out Rhea's out. And I didn't even know she was injured. I didn't hear anything about it. Do you know what the injury was?
I guess she fractured orbital bone, and so
really.
So yeah, but the only
thing looks fine, but okay.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is I thought like maybe she got injured during the attack, because I didn't see NXT, so I didn't know. Like the way the way they were describing it, I thought, because I know she got injured last time. Her shoulder was messed up because of accidentally thing with her and Liv. So I thought the same thing happened again. I'm like, no way this happened twice.
No, they didn't really show the attack.
They didn't show it. Okay, so yeah, that means that she probably got injured prior to that, and this was just used to write her off the show. So yeah,
I wonder where it was. We're bad
Okay.
podcasters. We don't even know where exactly she got injured, but okay. All right. So moving along, we're gonna go
Sometimes you just don't know unless you're there. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think someone out there probably knows the exact instant where she got injured, but
Maybe.
I'll see if I can find that and I'll post it maybe on Twitter or something. But I'm gonna move along to the match, to the Liv Morgan Nia Jax match. So there's gonna be no Rhea interference supposedly. So, but the big question was that will there be a Tiffany Stratton cash-in? So I'm gonna skip most of the match. They had a match. If you guys want to comment on the work, it's up to you when I give you time to talk. But if you want to watch the match, also I'm gonna refer you to the links in the description because I'm not going to talk about or show the whole match. But Tiffany did come in, and she was going to cash in her Money in the Bank again when she saw Nia was down or everybody was down. And then Nia again wakes up, as we've seen like fucking, I don't know how many times before, 10 times before or something. And, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? He tells her to get out of here. Get the hell out of here. I'm having this match. And then Tiffany hangs around for a minute and then walks back in. And then again, she's going to cash it in again. And that's when Raquel and I think Dominic Mysterio come in. And they basically tell her off. And they gang up on her. Liv and Raquel gang up on her. And there was this funny moment here when Nia Jax attacks Liv and Raquel. And they bump into Tiffany, which was pretty hilarious to me. But that got a pop for me. But to make a long story short, Dominic runs interference for Raquel on the other side to push Nia off, and then that led to the Liv Morgan victory. So she's the first ever women's crown jewel champion. She wins that fancy belt that they have, and I think Triple H came out and presented her with it. So what did we have as ratings for this crown jewel? Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. Vlad, half a thumbs up. Robert, also an Orange Cassidy, unenthusiastic, half thumbs up. I'm the only one who gave this a thumbs up, so I liked it. I'll give my views on this after you guys, though. So I guess I'll start with Vlad, 1 minute on the clock. Nia Jax and Tiffany and Liv Morgan, everything.
I'll say this. I've kind of badmouthed Liv previously,
Yes, yes, you have,
but
Vlad.
I have, right. And I stand by a lot of what I said. Like, I think she's tiny. I don't think she's really that great in the ring. But I will say this for her. Her character development the last couple of months is tremendous. Like, she's done wonders with this character. Like, to the point of that I'm booing her when she comes in the ring. So what threw me then is she was in the post show. I don't know if you guys watched. I know most of you didn't watch the post show. I don't blame you, but I had a running after the show was over, and I was like kind of semi-listening. That she was kind of a baby face, like crying, so proud that she had won this thing, so proud of her accomplishments that she's the first. I'm like, well, she's such an annoying heel. Are they trying to turn her baby face? I don't understand like why they're doing this, where she's crying and emotional.
I'll explain it to you.
Please do, but
I totally get it. I know what this is. So this crown jewel thing that they've came up with is supposedly like as Cody won later, which we'll talk about against Gunther. I think this is supposedly like their award for best worker or best wrestler. Like, you know what I mean?
Best. If Liv Morgan is their recipient,
she is. Like, I think if Rhea was around, I think Rhea would have won this. But other than Rhea, who the fuck is it? And I totally disagree with you. I think her work looks pretty damn good in the ring, and combine that with her character work, I think she deserves this.
Great.
Who deserves to be the best wrestler on the roster? Who would you put instead of Rhea? Like, if Rhea was healthy, I think she would have won this match, and I think they would have gave it to her. But she's not there. So who else would it be?
I mean, if you're like just pure wrestling ability, there's plenty. But I mean, if you talk about just the character and how she's been doing lately with the whole Rhea and Dom stuff, of course, yes, she deserves for the character work. She's not great in the ring, and there's no way you can convince me that she is. She's not believable. She's barely 5 feet tall. She can her punches don't look great.
Well, who the hell else would you put over her? Bailey, Naomi, Nia? No. It's
Bianca,
just her.
Jade, anybody. There's so
Well,
many
Bianca's
people, there's so
Bianca's been in a tag team the whole year, so she hasn't done shit. Okay, let me get thoughts from Robert. I agree
saying
with
that she's
this.
the best wrestler is insane.
That's why she was crying and celebrating, because that's what Triple H is awarding here. Triple H is awarding like the top wrestler, basically. That's what this is. But anyways, Robert, let me get some thoughts from you before I give some more thoughts, because I have more thoughts on this. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the match was okay. I felt like there was too much interference going on. That it's probably a little overbooked. And then the thing about Tiffany Stratton trying to cash in, this whole idea of her trying to decide whether to cash in or not, it's kind of becoming stale for me.
Yes, I agree with you on that one.
She needs to make up her mind no later than Survivor Series, if not even sooner. Like, it's like enough of this hesitancy already. Like, just do it. And to make things even worse, like on top of her hesitancy of whether or not to actually cash in, the couple of times when she did give the briefcase to the referee, it seemed like the referee had no idea what was going on, like why she was giving her the briefcase. Like, well, what do you want to do with this? What do you want to do? It's like, come on, like you're making things even worse, right?
Yeah, it's like the first time they've seen this briefcase.
Like you don't know what that briefcase is supposed to be for.
All right.
Okay,
I'm with you there. But what about Liv Morgan? Your analysis of her work and whether she deserves this accolade.
Hold on. Yeah. So in our review of the previous PLE, I did say that I think Liv Morgan has come a long way as a performer overall, both in and out of the ring, right? But I'm not gonna backtrack that statement. I still believe that. But this crown jewel title is supposed to be for like the best wrestler that WWE has to offer. I feel like this is just in this case, it's more the benefit of her being in the hottest angles consistently throughout the year, and she's kind of been the benefactor of being in like interesting angles that people actually talk about, right? But best wrestler, no. Rhea is better than her in the ring.
Yes, I would put Rhea over her.
Bianca Belair, Io Sky, a couple other names I can think of as well.
But come on, you got to include character work too.
Yeah,
Bianca and Io are not the same character.
Okay. Again, I mentioned that she was lucky to have been part of really good angles, so that
But no one else could have been in those angles. She's the only one. No one else would have made sense in those angles. Like if
we'll never know because those opportunities weren't given to them, but it was given to her. So
it had to be Liv.
I have to agree with Karen on that part. Yeah,
she's great in this role, and for the past year, she's been the best character, I think, other than Rhea. So Rhea's not here. I think Rhea, if they had a match between Rhea and if Rhea was available, I think she probably would have been given this accolade, maybe. So
sure, okay.
But she wasn't even the champion. So how could she have been?
Best character, I'll give you that. Sure, like I'm not going to dispute that, but. Best wrestler? I don't know. I don't know about that.
All right. Well, I'm the only one here who will defend Liv Morgan's in-ring work. All right, fine. But I will also say, just to close out this angle before I move on, that I thought it was interesting, the heel versus heel aspect of this that usually doesn't work, they say, but I thought it worked pretty damn good here. And I was really interested to see who would win. But once Rhea was out of the way, I think Liv had enough firepower on her side with both Dom and Raquel helping her, and with Tiffany not really helping Nia. So I think the result was good, and I'm happy with with Liv getting this accolade. I'm totally fine with it. So I'll move along. Angle number 11. A couple more before we close up shop. I'm going to talk about KO and Randy Orton from Crown Jewel, but before that, I'll just mention real quick from SmackDown when they had the angle where Cody and Orton were fighting Imperium, and then KO came out of nowhere to fucking whack Orton with a steel chair. And the moment that I loved was when Gunther grabbed Cody Rhodes and KO had a chance to help him. And he was like, no, I'm not helping him. Fuck you. So that's when Gunther chokes out Cody, which is a nice segue into the next angle that we'll talk about after this. But for right now, I'll jump to what happened between KO and Randy Orton at Crown Jewel. Okay, so what happened was basically the match couldn't get started. There was just all kinds of chaos. They were fighting a lot, and I think Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis came out, and that's when there was an RKO. Adam Pearce took an RKO from a SmackDown competitor. I will mention that's as a side story. I think that'll come into play when Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce have their feud. That he couldn't control his SmackDown guys here, but. So this match couldn't get started. They couldn't get him in the ring, and then it ended with a big off the top of a guardrail in the audience, and KO gave Randy Orton this really cool looking elbow drop, straight out of Ring of Honor. So that was the end of that, and then they cut away from that. So for this angle here on Crown Jewel, let's see what some ratings were. Thumbs up from Vlad and Robert, and I gave it 2 thumbs up. So I fucking love this. I thought this was great. I didn't want to see a match between them really, so I was fine with them not having a match. To me, this was better. But I'll jump to you guys. Robert, 1 minute on the clock. Thumbs up for this non-match, but whatever you have to say about it.
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't necessarily need to see a match either. Something like this happening is cool to see, to break the monotony of WWE shows of having match after match after match. This being a non-match altercation, I was fine with it. I didn't think it was great, but I did like it enough to give it at least 1 thumbs up. So that's it.
All right, Vlad, you as well? Anything you want to say about this whole KO and Randy Orton thing?
Yeah, I agree with you, on that. I like that they didn't have a match, honestly, because I think first, I think they have plenty of time to have a match. They have Survivor Series coming up. They'll probably fight again. Crown Jewel didn't have to have it happen here anyways. They might as well have some big chaotic thing where somebody does something crazy, like Kevin Owens jumping from the guardrail onto a table. It was a good spot. It was furthers their feud and gets it more personal and things like that. Adding Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce, the general managers, gives it more credibility, I think. So overall, good stuff. I thought this was a pretty good segment. I could have given it 2 thumbs up, but I don't know if it deserved that. But I think definitely at least 1 for sure, because it was good. It was pretty good.
All right, cool. Let's close up the show then. Last angle. So we'll save the best for last, supposedly. The best workers, I guess. So the Crown Jewel showcase, the main event match, was Cody Rhodes against Gunther, champion versus champion, the Universal / WWE undisputed champion against the World Heavyweight Champion. So, like usual, I'm going to skip to the end, okay? I'm going to refer you to the links in the description if you want to see this match. This is a long video. It's got at least 45 minutes, including the ring walk, so super long match. But the ending was Gunther had him in a choke, and I think Cody kind of reverses it and pins him like that. So if you guys are watching on the YouTube, I can't really describe it. I'm not a wrestling commentator, but okay. So he reversed the choke into a pin, and that was that. And Gunther here is pounding on the floor after the match, pissed off that he took a clean loss. So there's Cody with the big smile, and I think Gunther shakes his hand, kind of pissed off and again, like Liv Morgan, Triple H comes out and hands him that big shiny belt, which I guess they're going to give him a ring. It's like a Super Bowl ring. That's what I heard the commentators say. He's the first Crown Jewel
They gave him a ring, right?
And there's some Saudi Arabian guy here. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Why does he get to be in a WWE ring? This loser.
The guy that probably paid $50 million.
Oh, so he's a rich loser. Honestly, he's still a loser. I don't care that he's rich. This guy would have never been in wrestling if it wasn't for his money. So I'm going to talk shit about this. Let's talk shit about this Saudi Arabia show in general.
That goes without saying.
But as I will say afterwards, after we give our reviews of this match, but I'll give my thoughts on them having this show. But okay, so then they brought out Liv, and Liv and Cody celebrated together as the men's and women's best wrestlers of the year, I guess. Is what I gather that they're kind of trying to say here. But okay, so the Gunther and Cody match, clean win for Cody. Let's go with Vlad. Last angle of the day before I go to my honorable mentions. Go ahead.
Well, look, I'll say this. Obviously, the work and the match these guys had was tremendous. These are two tremendous wrestlers.
Thumbs up for me, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to mention.
Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up for the work. I think my only issue, if there is any, is that they could have done something here where, where Gunther actually wins, but like there's some sort of angle behind it. I know. I mean, they could have done something maybe with Kevin Owens. We already know that he is involved with Cody. I think that would have been the person that would have made the most sense. I think we were thinking prior maybe the Bloodline, but the Bloodline, they had their hands full of, they already have the people that they need. They don't need to be involved with Cody stuff right now. But definitely Kevin Owens could have been involved in this, and then Gunther could have won, and nobody would have really lost clean. I think they could have avoided that. They're two champions, and why does either have to lose clean on this Saudi Arabia pay-per-view? I'm sorry, I don't see a need for it. The work, tremendous. Match, fantastic. Everything looked tremendous. Everything looked great. They just put in a hell of a show, but did they really have to beat Gunther is the big question here.
Yeah, isn't everyone going to talk shit to Gunther now? Like, if I was one of Gunther's, man, you're not even the top champion. You lost to Cody clean. So, I don't know. This is, to me, kind of bad. But I'll jump to Robert. Yeah. Vlad, if you have more thoughts, I'll give you more time later. But Robert, thumbs up from you also. So, what are your thoughts about this?
So, this match, as far as the work is concerned, was really, really good. Probably the best of the show. Up till the end, I'll get to the finish in a bit. But my prediction for this match was that Cody Rhodes would beat Gunther, and the reason why I predicted that, even though I would have liked to see Gunther win this, is this crown jewel thing. I don't know if this is gonna be like an annual thing that they're gonna do every year.
I suspect
this is so in my head, right? In my head, I was thinking, well, all right, if this is gonna be an annual thing, and this is the first of the crown jewel titles, I'm sure like the WWE brass would want to see someone with the Rhodes family name be the first winner of the crown jewel title. Like, that's the way I see it. Even though I like Gunther more, he's my pick for wrestler of the year personally. And on top of that, as far as respect from the overall wrestling fans, not just on the internet, but like in general, Gunther has more. I don't know if consensus is the right word, because there'll never be a consensus. But Gunther is much closer to that consensus of
really
being respected by everybody than Cody. At least I think so.
Interesting.
And for me, Cody needed this win a lot more than Gunther, because his title reign so far has not been that great. So he needed this win.
So you're fine with all this?
Well, I mean, I like Gunther more, but I think Cody needed this win more than Gunther. So that's why I was okay with it. And having said that, the finish felt very fluky to me. I didn't really like it. Maybe they could have gone with some other way to finish it, and maybe not a clean loss, like what Vlad mentioned. So I just didn't like the finish. But the result for me was not a surprise.
All right, real quick, I'm going to put a minute for me. I'm going to go on a rant here. I gave this a thumbs down. I don't know if you guys read my fucking review earlier, but I thought about this more, and I changed my review. I gave it a half thumbs up before, but I'm giving this a fucking thumbs down now. I don't like this. Couple things. Gunther taking the loss. Yes, that hurts him. If he's in a feud with anyone on Raw, they can talk shit about him that he lost this match clean. Secondly, one thing I don't, if they're going to make this a thing, like, you know, having a thing every year where there's a clean match finally and we see who's the best out of the two, you know? I don't need this to be like a separate fucking show where they do that. Isn't that supposed to be WrestleMania? Isn't that what's supposed to be what WrestleMania is for, where you have the two best go at it and finally they have a real match and a clean victor? Do it within the confines of the regular show. I don't need a separate show where you guys like tell us who you think has the brass ring or who's the best wrestler of the year. I think I don't need this separate Saudi Arabia show, honestly. And thirdly, they made us forget that we don't even need the fucking World Heavyweight title. This match could have been the main event of WrestleMania for the WWE title, and they could have had this result. And that's it. The two best wrestlers fighting for the title at WrestleMania, and then let us see who goes over. This I don't like. This was a waste of my fucking time. So, thumbs down to me.
Can I I have to say a couple things, and that, well, a couple things. First, going back to what Robert said, I'm a little surprised because he said that the consensus is that Gunther is like the better.
I'm kind of with you. I think Cody's a better wrestler.
I mean, I think there's probably. I mean, to me, there's probably more of a. Well, I think definitely Cody's more over for sure as a performer and probably as a wrestler at this point. I mean, yes, I think Gunther is one of the best I've ever seen in the ring, but I don't think that automatically means that the fans consider him like over Cody. So
really, I say that because I've seen a lot more, at least online, a lot more disrespect towards Cody in his title reign so far than towards Gunther.
I would say there's a lot of people that talk a lot of crap about Cody. That's always been the case. To be honest, there's a lot of people that just don't like Cody, don't like a lot of his work. I don't particularly like his current babyface run as the champion either that much. There's been some pluses, but there's been a lot of minuses as well. But as far as the Saudi Arabia show, I think you have to realize when they're paying you $50 million, they're gonna have this show. Okay, $50 million is $50 million. Okay,
that's fine. So, they can have it. Doesn't mean I'm gonna like it.
You're like, who is it for? It's for WWE's finances. Sure, they're $1 billion company, but
it's for this guy. It's for this Arab guy with all this money who wanted to come in and raise Cody's hand for a minute. Like that's who it's for, really. It doesn't do anything for me.
It doesn't. It's not for you. Well, it's for WWE.
And then regarding your comment about like you don't need this to be a separate show, wasn't there? I thought this was pretty much taking the place of Clash of the Champions. Wasn't this essentially the same thing except they created an actual title?
Yeah, but Clash of the Champions wasn't supposed to have clean endings when they had these champion versus champion matches. You know, if they had Gunther versus Cody, there was no requirement to have a clean finish to see who's really better. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's supposed to be for WrestleMania. That's the day. That's why everyone's pissed off when they have a WrestleMania match and then there's a fucking interference spot where someone goes on, because everyone's like, dude, come on, we waited for this. This was worse. We were supposed to find out who really wins. But so now they're doing it here.
The Liv versus Nia match was. I don't think that wasn't clean, but okay.
I know. Well, those are two heels, so they had to kind of make that make sense somehow. But I don't know. But okay, if they wanted to have a clean ending here between these two guys, which they did, I don't like that. So, okay. Moving along. We're done with the show. We're done with all our angles. I'm going to throw some honorable mentions in. I'm not really going to talk about them too much, but just some things that I want to mention on the show because I do watch NXT, Vlad, and Robert, Vlad has no idea what we're talking about, but Robert would.
It's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out as you're explaining it.
Well, Tatum, Paxley, and Wendy Choo have been at each other's throats because
God damn, I sound like Cornette. God damn it.
Well, it has to do with their toys, you know, like, you know, they used to be friends and they let each other play with their toys, so now they hate each other, so it's terrible. But I will give big ups to this match. It was a casket match, Vlad, and it was actually kind of cool. I thought Wendy Choo came out all serious, and they took a bump in Legos, right, Robert? That was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
The crowd was like, oh shit. But I think another spot that I really like, Robert, was when Wendy Choo went through her own bed.
Yeah.
took the bump through her bed. I thought it was really fucking hilarious. But okay, Tatum Paxley with the win. Good job. The other honorable mention I have is from NXT also, Robert, which if you guys want to read our NXT review, me and Robert reviewed NXT. Vlad wasn't in on that. He's not really into the show. But the other thing I want to mention is our Adriana Rizzo and Nikkita Lyons. So Adriana Rizzo got attacked last week, or 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And we all thought it was Nikkita because we thought Obafemi put her up to it. But Nikkita was in there having a match with Kaylani Jordan, and she went up to the top rope for a spot, and then she saw someone coming through the ring walk entrance, and it was Rizzo, as Tony D'Angelo calls her, from the family. But yeah, that distraction cost Nikkita Lyons, and then Adriana came in to attack Nikkita. So I'm looking forward to that match as Adriana ran off Nikkita. But anyways, I like that.
I'll just say something real quick. Oh, sorry. What did Robert give that? Yeah.
Robert gave this angle a half thumbs up. I gave it a thumbs up. So I like this. Even though I saw it coming. I knew Nikkita was the mystery attacker last week, but okay. Anyways, Vlad, did you have a comment on Nikkita Lyons?
No, I don't care about No, that's not my comment. My comment is on NXT in general. I just think the reason I can't really watch it is it gives me AEW vibes, and I already watch a show like that. But you just showed me a match where two people are fighting on Legos, fighting that's something AEW would do. Going through a bed, you said somebody went through a bed. Okay, that's AEW for sure. It's too indie-rific for me. I'm not into that type of wrestling. NXT seems to be a little bit. Sometimes they're serious, but then sometimes they focus on, or some of the stuff they do is too indie for me, which is fine. It's a development.
Some people say that that's what Triple H is going for, to be like a pseudo AEW, because I've heard people say that since AEW is sort of in right now,
Who said AEW is in?
AEW right is sort of in. Look, when NXT had its listen to this. Listen to this. When NXT had its revival, a number of years ago, when they were getting all the indie guys from Ring of Honor, that was a response to Ring of Honor because the internet wrestling fans were really into Ring of Honor. So Triple H is like, well, I'm gonna do what the indie fans like, right? So now the indie fans are into AEW. They get whatever 600, 800,000 viewers. It's more than Ring of Honor got back in the days. So now what I'm hearing is that they're trying to make it sort of like in that vein of AEW crazy
but only
psychoness.
NXT. Only NXT.
Only NXT. Yeah.
Right. So that's fine. I'm okay. If that's the case, that's fine. Because I won't be watching that. So that's okay.
It's all right to me, but I don't know. To me, there's moments where I find it humorous, and sometimes it's good. But anyways, my last honorable mention, I guess, is LA Knight and defending the United States title in the three-way against Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. So we liked this feud, and they had this match. It had some good high spots, right? That spot where Andrade looked like he was gonna do a top rope move onto Carmelo, but instead he did it onto LA Knight. And then the ending I really liked. I don't know how to describe this. It was a BFT onto Carmelo Hayes, but Carmelo Hayes kind of smashed Andrade's face into the ground at the same time. So I thought that ending was really slick. So I gave that a half thumbs up. I think we all did. We all kind of liked this. So that's my last honorable mention. How about botch of the week? You guys want to do that?
If you have a botch to show us, please.
I got one from ROH. It was a Halloween
Ring of
It was a Halloween Ring of Horror match between
who is that?
That's Abadon against Athena for the women's Ring of Honor title. So here's the I Am the Table. You know I Am the Table, Robert? Do you know that from Botch? I Am the Table is when people can't break the table. So sure, here's Abadon trying to break the table on Athena.
It hurts even worse.
So she couldn't do it. So she's gonna get up and say, "I am the table," right? And then she's gonna do it again.
Wants to put
And it didn't break again.
And they are just out.
Oh my god!
Wow.
How could it not break?
You guys
What the
gotta
hell?
watch Ring of Honor, bro. Anyways, here's the Moxley spot, the skewer spot with Abadon. This was
Goodness.
literally on Halloween night. So, anyways, yes, there you go. There's my last honorable mention is Abadon. On that note,
more like dishonorable mention.
This was on Ring of Honor that they had that spot. That's like
Yes.
is it a pay-per-view or just one of their weeklies?
no, this was a weekly show. They'd been building up this Abadon Athena feud for a few weeks now, so this was their big match. But anyways, Athena retained. If you're interested, so it's just a Ring of
You
Honor
know, I'm
champion.
surprised a little bit. Speaking, I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I hear that Athena's been pretty good in Ring of Honor. That they're not bringing her back because they have nothing going on in the women's division. I mean, if she's
Well,
somebody
that's a
doing
lie.
something-
She is not doing good in Ring of Honor. I would say maybe in the beginning of her run, but
Athena's not doing good anymore.
I don't
No,
think
okay.
so, bro. This storyline has jumped the shark. It's awful. I don't want to get into it.
Based on what I'm
If-
seeing, yes.
If you want to read my reviews about Ring of Honor, you can go to our YouTube posts, and I
God.
put full comments, my own full comments for every angle from Ring of Honor.
Oh,
But
brother.
I don't think the Athena World Champion feud or program has been going well, honestly, not for a long time.
Okay,
So
okay. Well,
I
then I
think
take
it's-
it
I think
back.
it's really-
I take it back.
It
I
was
thought
in the
she was doing
beginning,
well.
but it was in the beginning, but recently it's really sucked. So,
Okay.
but anyway, so that was my.
That was a
botch.
great botch, though. That was a tremendous. She couldn't break the table in either spot is unbelievable. What the hell was that table made out of? I don't even understand.
I don't
How
know.
could that happen?
man.
How could that happen?
All right. Well,
I love that she yelled, "I am the table," and then proceeded not to break the table again. That's just fantastic. That is
Yeah,
a
look-
moment.
Look out for that on Botchamania this week, most likely. So
Oh, I'm sure it's there, of course. Especially the yelling part of it was tremendous.
yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, unless anyone else has honorable mentions or anything else they want to mention, we've gone way over our allotted 1 hour. So I've had to, like Tony Khan, pay for the going over and thanks to YouTube for letting us go half an hour over our allotted time because we're not an hour and a half in. But all right, anybody got anything else that they think they should mention or that, from the past week? I know it's tough, but
Yeah, it's tough to remember everything, but
all right. Well, listen,
not
we got,
really.
no.
let me remind the audience, anyone here, we review all the angles. So if you guys want to know what Vlad and Robert thought about any angle from Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, that's on our YouTube post. So go to our YouTube posts and check out our past reviews. Me and Robert do NXT, and I do Impact, Ring of Honor, Rampage, and Collision.
I don't know how you do that, but okay.
Yeah, there's really no reason. There's really no reason for that, and there's no one calling for it either.
Well, the TNA one's got a fair amount of clicks, but I will say the Rampage ones no one clicks on. Collision a little bit, but Ring of Honor also some people are probably interested to know what happens. I mean, look, I put a good summary on there, so it's a real quick summary. If you don't want to watch the show, it's just a quick 2-minute read and you'll know what happened on the show. So look out for that. Subscribe. We're on our way to 500. We're almost at 400, 395. So hopefully this week we'll get to 400. And we're literally looking forward to getting 500 because I'm trying to link our Shopify to this so we could sell T-shirts of Vlad and Robert. So once we get to 500, I might start thinking about that. So
Who's
subscribe
gonna
if you
want
hadn't.
a shirt of this face? I can't even.
Man, you're the wrestling expert, bro. You're the wrestling expert.
Okay,
All right.
that's fair.
Well, thanks, Vlad, Robert. All right, we've done it. Thank you again. I appreciate you guys coming on my podcast. This is the Malapert Smart Podcast. We review wrestling here, and we don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. That's what we're all about. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm tired now. I know that there was a time change, so it's like an hour later than we usually.
Yes,
it usually is.
yes, exactly.
All right, guys, go to bed then. I'll put the show out by morning, and thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Catch your eye, talking champs till we die. The smoke's always high. Fights and myths, so we say. Heroes rise till and sway. In the ring, night and day. Wrestling talk, come and stay. Now the birds fly, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The sparks always high. The mat crash and cheer. All the news you wanna hear. Wealth and fame always near. With the crew, have no fear. Now the birds fly, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The sparks always high. Catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. With the sparks always high.